Good morning, students. My name is Kailash Pawar, sir, your biology teacher. And now we are learning chapter number 6, that is biomolecules. Before starting the chapter, we have to recall some things. That things are: which are the different cell components? What is the role of that components in the cell? I think you all students have very well known about the cell, its component, its role, and what are the role played by these components in the cell. I think you have passed your 10th standard seriously and you all students have know the answers of these questions. Okay. Now under this chapter we will learn different kinds of biological molecules in the under branch biochemistry. Now we will see what is biochemistry. Biochemistry is the branch of biological science or biology which deals with the study of biological chemistry that provides us the idea of the chemistry of living organisms and molecular basis for the changes taking place in plants, animals, and in microbes. In short, biochemistry is the study of chemical analysis of cell or organisms. Now, in this chapter, we will learn about different kinds of biological molecules. They may be proteins, lipids, fatty acids, polysaccharides, nucleotides, etc. etc. So, before starting the chapter, we have to look out what are the different kinds of biomolecules, that molecules we will learn under this chapter. So, you have to focus on this chart first. Now, look at toward the chart showing you at a glance biomolecules. Now see, biomolecules are divided into two types, that are first organic biomolecules and inorganic biomolecules. Now see, organic biomolecules are divided into again two types. That two types are first macromolecules, macro means large. So these biological molecules are large, so called macromolecules. And second, micromolecules. These molecules are small, so called micromolecules. Now see, macromolecules are again divided into following types. These types are polysaccharides. Poly means many, saccharides means sugar component. Means polysaccharides are consisting from simple sugar molecules. Second, polypeptides consisting from many amino acids or peptides, so called polypeptides. Third, polynucleotides consisting from many nucleotides. I think you know about nucleotides in case of RNA or DNA. So these are macrobiomolecules. Second, micromolecules. Micromolecules are categorized into two categories. Number one, lipids. These lipids are consist from fatty acids and glycerol. Fatty acids are of again two types, saturated fatty acid and unsaturated fatty acid. Saturated fatty acids are having single bond and unsaturated fatty acids are having double bond. So lipids are consisting from fatty acids and glycerol. Now under micromolecules we will see secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites are the products in the living cell which are actually not always useful for the organisms or for living cell. They are byproduct. They may be harmful for the cell or may be useful for the cell. Now, following are the examples of secondary metabolites: alkaloids, phenolics, terpenoids, some essential oils, toxins, lectins, etc. So this is about organic biomolecules. Now we will see about inorganic biomolecules. Inorganic biomolecules are again divided into three categories. Number one, prime elements, which are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. These all are present in the air or in water. Second, macro elements. Macro means large elements. These are nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, etc. And last one, trace elements. These are boron, chlorine, zinc, copper, iron, sodium, molybdenum, nickel, silicon, cobalt, etc. So these are the inorganic biomolecules. Prime elements are very essential, macro elements are required in large amount, and trace elements are required in very small amount. So this is the just overlook, or we have to learn biomolecules at a glance. Now in biomolecules we will see our first topic, that is carbohydrates or hydrates of carbon. Now carbohydrates, also we will take information about carbohydrate with the help of this chart. See this chart or concentrate towards the chart. So carbohydrates are divided into three categories. Number 1 monosaccharides, number 2 disaccharides, and number 3 polysaccharides. Mono means one, di means two, and poly means many. So monosaccharides are made up from only one sugar component or from simple sugars. Monosaccharides are of following types. Number 1 trioses means which contain 3 carbons. For example glyceraldehyde. Tetroses which contain 4 carbons. For example erythrose. Pentoses containing 5 carbons. For example ribose sugar in RNA and deoxyribose sugar in DNA. Hexoses contain 6 carbon. For example fructose present in fruit sugar and galactose product of lactose. Heptoses containing 7 carbon, which is for example pseudoheptulose. So these are the some examples of monosaccharides which containing only one sugar molecule. Number 2 disaccharides, di means 2. This sugar molecule is, these carbohydrates are consisting from 2 monosaccharides. For example sucrose which is present in cane sugar. On hydrolysis, sucrose produces glucose and fructose. Second example lactose which is present in milk or also called as milk sugar. On hydrolysis, it produces glucose and galactose. Number 3 maltose, commonly called as malt sugar. On hydrolysis, malt produces 2 glucose units, means glucose plus glucose is equal to maltose. Glucose plus galactose is equal to lactose. Glucose plus fructose is equal to sucrose. So these are the examples of disaccharides. Now we will see polysaccharides. So these polysaccharides are nothing but the polymer of monosaccharides. Monosaccharides together form a polysaccharides. Polysaccharides again are of two types. Number 1 homopolysaccharides. Homo means same. These polysaccharides are consisting from one type of monosaccharides, so called as homopolysaccharides. For example starch present in plant as a storage molecule. Second example cellulose present in plants in cell wall. Cell wall is made up from cellulose in case of plant. Next glycogen present in animal as a storage molecule. So these are the homopolysaccharides. Number 2 heteropolysaccharides. Heteros means different. So these polysaccharides are consisting from different types of monosaccharides, so called heteropolysaccharides. For example hyaluronic acid, heparin present in blood, then chondroitin sulfate, etc. So this is, we have learned what are the carbohydrates at a glance. Previously also we have seen carbohydrates are nothing but hydrates of carbon. They also called as saccharides. These are the biomolecules made up just from 3 elements. The three elements are carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. But hydrogen and oxygen in the same ratio as in water, 2:1. Carbohydrates are broken down or oxidized and releases the energy. On the basis of number of sugar units, we have classified carbohydrates as monosaccharides, disaccharides and polysaccharides. Now we will see one by one about monosaccharide, disaccharide and polysaccharide. First, we will see about monosaccharides. So this is an example of monosaccharide. For example, glucose. So on the screen, you are watching the structure of glucose, an example of monosaccharide. So these are simplest sugar having crystalline structure, sweet taste, also soluble in water, but cannot be further hydrolyzed into smaller molecules because these are monosaccharides. They are building blocks of complex carbohydrates. They have the general molecular formula CH2ON, where N can be 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. They can be classified as trioses, tetroses, pentoses, hexoses, heptoses, etc. We have seen in previous topics. Monosaccharides, if containing the aldehyde group, means CHO group, are classified as aldoses. And if monosaccharides are containing ketone group, CO group, are classified as ketoses. Ketoses, for example, ribulose, fructose, and aldoses, for example, glucose, xylose, etc. On the screen, you are looking about glucose, its structure, its structural formula, etc. Now we will see some information about following monosaccharides. Number 1, glucose. It is the most important fuel in the living cell. Its concentration in human blood is about 90 mg per 100 ml of blood. If this range is increases, then human being will be face some diseases, for example diabetes, or we are calling sugar. Because of its small size and solubility in water, glucose molecule allows them to pass through the cell membrane. This glucose is the energy is released when molecules are metabolized by the cellular respiration. So glucose is the major respiratory substrate used by the living cell. Now we will see second example, galactose. It is looking very similar to glucose molecule. They can also exist alpha and in beta form. Galactose react with glucose to form lactose. However, glucose and galactose cannot be easily converted into one another. Galactose cannot play the same role in respiration as glucose. Number third example of monosaccharide, fructose, means fruit sugar. It is the fruit sugar and chemically it is ketohexoses, but it has a 5 atom ring rather than the 6 atom ring. Fructose react with glucose and form sucrose. Sucrose is an disaccharide. Now, so these are some examples of monosaccharides. Now we will see about disaccharides. Di means 2, containing 2 sugar molecules, so called disaccharides. 2 monosaccharides come together and forms disaccharide. Monosaccharides are rare in nature. Most sugar found in nature are disaccharides. Disaccharides is formed when 2 monosaccharides reacts with each other by condensation method or condensation reaction and releases one water molecule. This process requires energy. We know all reactions are required energy. Some reactions are giving energy and some reactions are gaining energy. Now, sucrose, lactose, maltose, these are the some examples of disaccharides. Sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. It lacks free aldehyde or ketone group. Lactose and maltose are reducing sugars. Lactose also exists in beta form, which is made up from beta galactose and beta glucose. Disaccharides are soluble in water, but they are too big, so cannot pass through the cell membrane easily by diffusion. They are broken down into smaller units called monosaccharides. These disaccharides are break down into small intestine during digestion, thus form monosaccharides, and these monosaccharides are passed into the blood and through cell membrane into the cell. Following is the example of disaccharide. On the screen, you are looking the example of disaccharide, that is maltose. Maltose nothing but glucose plus glucose. On hydrolysis, maltose will produce 2 glucose molecules. So on the screen you are looking the example of disaccharide, that is maltose. Now, number third, polysaccharide. Monosaccharides can undergo series of condensation reaction and forms polysaccharides. This is called polymerization. Polysaccharides are broken down by hydrolysis into monosaccharides. The properties of polysaccharides molecules depend on its length, branching, folding and coiling, etc. Following are some examples of polysaccharides. Number 1, starch. Starch is stored in food in the plant. So, amylose, amylopectin, both are made up from alpha glucose. Amylose is an unbranched polymer of alpha glucose. Amylopectin is a branch polymer of alpha glucose. It is completely insoluble in water. Number 2, glycogen. It is amylopectin with very short distances between the branching side chains. Glycogen is stored in animal body, particularly in liver and muscles, from where hydrolyzed as per the need and produces glucose for respiratory substrate. So glycogen is the reserve food material in animal cell. Starch is reserve food material in plant cell. Cellulose again is an example of polysaccharide. This cellulose is nothing but polymer made from beta glucose molecule, and the polymer molecules are straight. Cellulose serves to form the cell walls in the plant cell. In plant cell, cellulose is the major component of cell wall. This toughness is due to the arrangement of glucose units. So, cell wall is tough, or this toughness is because of this cellulose. So here we have discussed about monosaccharides, its different types, examples, disaccharide, different types, examples, polysaccharides, different types, examples, their function, etc. Now we will see about what are the biological importance or significance of carbohydrates. Previously we have known on hydrolysis, carbohydrates are giving energy, means it supplies energy for metabolism. About metabolism we have discussed in chapter number 1. So carbohydrates are providing energy for metabolism. Glucose is the major respiratory substrate for all living cell and produces ATP on hydrolysis. Lactose, a disaccharide, is present in milk, provide energy for lactating babies. Next one, polysaccharides serves as a structural component of cell membrane, cell wall, and reserve food material, starch in plant cell and glycogen in animal cell. So these are the some biological significance of carbohydrates. So here we have discussed about carbohydrates. In next lecture we will discuss about lipids. In next lecture. So here we have finished our first topic or introductory part from chapter number 6, Biomolecules. If you have any doubt or problem, you can ask me on my WhatsApp number. I will give you a response. What are the curiosities you have? I will try to solve your problems, etc. Now, after finishing these topics, can you tell me these things? You have to solve these questions. Solve this question, then take the photo and send me on my WhatsApp number. And if you have any doubt, ask me. I will solve your doubt as far as possible. So thanking you. If still you are confusing or getting some problems, take your textbook, read it properly, again read it, and still you are getting problem, then ask your subject teacher. Thank you.